Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a quick look here at Matic. We're going to see what's going on here since we last reviewed this because obviously the price action has broke out a little bit since then. We're going to reevaluate some of these trend lines here and kind of see what the potential for pullback might look like if it were to, right? But also more importantly, how much further it's going to go because this is a very, very healthy continuation. And we want to talk about that and much more. So if you are new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I just love to teach people to trade. And I hope that you can learn something here today. If you do want to become a better trader, though, CryptoCash.tech is a site linked down below. And if you want to partner with a pretty cool exchange here, we just partnered with them here recently to offer a no KYC, no VPN exchange to our US and Canadian members. Up until November 20th, you got a benefit there. With the promotion there, some nice trial funds. You want to go ahead and try them out. Give them a shot. Let me know if you like them. And obviously, your feedback is accepted or welcome, whatever you want to call it. Once more, our premium results here are on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord from our last month. I consistently provide those. So what we want to talk about here is Matic and how much more further this is going to go, right? Because right now it's looking like it wants to break consistently up. We're seeing that pretty strong continuation. So let's talk about, I guess, big picture and work our way down. Let's just clear out some of the previous charts here and kind of see roughly where we're at here. So what we're looking for really quick is some key levels here that we want to pay attention to. We're just going to mark some one-day candlestick closures on the chart, some areas that we saw some pretty obvious issues where the price action had difficulty crossing. We can see one here as well where we saw about 4 or 5 days of continuation. So again, I'm just marking these on the charts just to kind of get perspective on later. It's not like it's a hard line where it's like never going to pass or instantly reject. It's just something kind of add to the equation so we know what's going on. The key here is that we're above the 200-day SMA, and we haven't looked back since we broke through that. It's a pretty big deal, and that's a really awesome thing. So what we want to look at is this continuation healthy? We can see that on the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frames. But for right now, we can identify that we're massively overextended. RSI is about 81. I have seen higher RSIs, of course, but the key takeaway here is that the money flow index remains high. Over the last 14 days, we've seen the money flow staying the same, and it hasn't changed at all. Okay? So again, that's why I try to talk a lot about volume and how important it is when the volume continues to increase, price does so as well. So shorting into a coin like this that is overextended means nothing if the volume is complementing that. Okay? So please understand, if the volume consistently starts to drop off, we start to see this shelf here, such as we saw here, right? There's a pretty obvious line there. Price comes down with it, then you're gonna want to consider a short at that point. Okay. Now I know it's hard because how do I identify if the volume is dropping when I can't see that on the daily time frame? That's where smaller time frames helps us. But for right now, we can see obviously this candlestick has 7 hours left in it, and we're almost already breaching yesterday's volume, which was extremely high, and we had a doji candle, or more so a rising star, or no, is it morning star, rising star? I forget the one, but it's a positive green closure because it closed and opened at the same place, and the price tried to wick all the way down. Again, I talk about all that stuff in my Trading Academy. Be sure to check that out if you're currently a community member. Speaking of which, we do have limited spots available there, so if you are considering joining, sooner the better. Hate to say I told you so, but I'm just kind of giving you a quick heads up. We're going to have a limit on the amount of members here soon. So when it comes to the 4-hour time frame, this is where things get kind of, I wouldn't say interesting or crazy, but the truth is we can see here there's a lot of momentum, a lot of extra volume here. We're up over the moving average, which is fantastic. So all in all, it does look like we're going to be able to sustain this continuation. We take a look at the RSI, MACD, they're all positively converging right now. Okay, we got extremely high money flow index, even though stochastic is swinging upwards and we're getting overextended there. We are looking like we are probably due for a correction in the relative near future, but not right away. And what I mean by that is we take a look at TD sequential, we're at a 6 right now. Typically this coin will hit a 9+ overtime. So if we see this here, it goes it generally will go 13 hours of continuation or 13 candles of continuation before it pulls back. So we're seeing that here. We saw this previously. Price comes up to that, basically that +4 mark and continues higher. Okay. Now that's a pretty common characteristic when we see coins like this. So just note, with us being at a 6 right now and this continuation being very, and I hate to use the word healthy because again, this isn't like a nice healthy staircase pattern, but it's consolidating nicely before it legs up each time. Okay, so again, you see this here, period of consolidation before it breaks that resistance. Dips back down to bounce out that key level support and continues higher. That 0.5 Fibonacci, that very, very common characteristic retracement zone. That is kind of something to look for. Speaking of retracement, we do want to be realistic here and talk about this. To be on the safe side here, if the price does end up pulling back, these are again common retracement zones. If it does pull back to these levels, though, keep in mind we are to be potentially establishing lower lows and lower highs, and that would be a shift in momentum. But keep in mind we're at a 5 right now, so if this is the top, the next pullback will lead to an ABC pattern, which is 2 lower lows and a lower high. Again, these patterns aren't 100%, but they are statistically more probable to occur than they would not. In other words, if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern for Elliott Wave, the reality of an ABC to the downside is about 70-80%. Now, again, majority of statistics are made up on the spot, so you got to recognize that those numbers are contingent on situations and a lot of different factors involved. Because again, just say Bitcoin has a bad day, what's Matic going to do? It's not going to shoot through the roof. Most coins have difficulty when Bitcoin struggles, and I do feel personally still, just based on the technical data, all the oscillators and analysis that we're looking at, minus a rising channel, we're seeing the price action of Bitcoin likely to pull back to 34, 33,000. If that happens, we will probably see a correction here for this coin too. So I just like to kind of paint the picture there and let you know that's a reality. Is it 100% guaranteed? Definitely not. I think the price action here is more likely to continue upwards of another 12 to 24 more hours. So I do think we're going to see this coin continue higher, but generally speaking, I would just urge some caution using high leverage and trying to catch the trade right now as a breakout trader. Never a great sign. We do have this previous resistance zone that we're working ourselves into, and that's a good sign, but it could work as a potential resistance. Let's take a quick look at the hourly and call it a day here for you, folks. And let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about Ichimoku Cloud. This is one of my favorite indicators. This does tell us that we're in good shape to leave our position open and that we have no reason to close our long. Okay, so by no means am I telling you the price is going to reverse. I just know that if the volume starts to dissipate and Bitcoin corrects itself, we will see that correction. Okay? If it doesn't happen, either of those two things don't happen, we have increased volume, Bitcoin goes sideways, Matic will continue to run. It's a very, very strong coin right now, and I do not want you to, I do not recommend betting against it. Okay? Not ideal. But as we can see, it's working very well within Fibonacci retracement levels and essentially using those as bouncing points. So for the most part here at this point, is it going to go higher? Yes. Is it going to go tremendously higher? Probably not, because again, coins can only run for so long and the amount of volume has to continue. If the volume dissipates, we're going to have a different conversation, but it's still increasing, still staying steady, and I think that's a big focal point here. So again, overextended? Yes. Extremely high volume? Yes. Both those things, price action typically goes higher. Okay. Again, these are just statistical probabilities here. So I think this coin has much more potential for further upside than downside, and I do think it's disadvantageous to consider betting against it just because it's overextended. Again, if Bitcoin gives us confirmation it's going to break that 34,000 mark by closing below 35.2 today, that's a different story. Okay, I might consider some shorts, but this is not the coin I'm going to consider shorting right now. Okay. All right, hope that makes sense. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something here today. Please like the video if you could. It really helps us grow the channel. And of course, jump on over to our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord if you want to become part of something greater. We do have an awesome group here. Everyone is, we all have a lot of fun together. It's a really cool experience. And if you want to be part of our premium group too, check it out. We took some, 94% profit on Bell, Maker 49%, Audio 105, ENJ 113, Comp 82, 21% VRA. These are all things that happen in the last 24 to 48 hours. Okay, and majority of this happened when we were sleeping because our automated trading bots trades for us. Really cool stuff. Be sure to check that out. Link down below if you're curious. We do have limited stocks available again once more. Hope you have a good day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you next one.